League of Legends is a game that was never meant to be speedrun. There is no single player story mode, every game has 10 random players, and the glitches that make speedrunning easier get patched out. But despite all these reasons not to speedrun the game, a small group of players does it anyway. Each speedrun category evolves season by season, with every champion release, item added, or rune change, a new strategy to lower the speedrun time may be possible. So I wanted to put a spotlight on this community. Throughout this video, I will be breaking down the history and strategies of 3 different speedrun categories. So let's first start with the most popular and oldest speedrun, Tutorial Part 1. The rules are very simple. To do a run, you must complete one of the 3 available parts of the tutorial, and the speedrun ends when dealing the final blow to the Nexus. The reason this is the most popular category is because the tutorial is as close as we can get to a single player story mode for League of Legends. So let's go all the way back to Season 8, where the first record of the current tutorial was submitted on speedrun.com by Make'em Gold. Looking at this first speedrun, we can break the whole run down into 5 distinct parts. The first part of the tutorial is Scion, where you walk past the first minion wave, then Scion charges at you. You then need to kill Scion and pick a champion to swap into. The next part is the first tower, where you kill the wave, then the Vel'Koz, and then destroy the first tower. The next part is the second tower, where allied bots spawn in and you must kill Yasuo and take the second tower. Then you rush down the third tower and inhibitor while 3 bots approach you, then the 2 Nexus towers, and finally, the Nexus. This speedrun is rather straightforward, just completing the tutorial as fast as possible, but we can already see some optimizations in the very first run. During the Scion phase, Make'em walks to the side to dodge Scion's ult, and pre-fires E and R backwards to kill Scion without getting hit. Make'em then also chooses Yi for the double strike passive, Q to drop turret aggro, and E on hit damage. But for the rest of the run, Make'em plays fairly straightforward, just rushing as fast as he can through the tutorial, finishing with a time of 2 minutes and 23 seconds, leaving a lot of room for innovation and optimization. And just 7 days later, on the 24th of June, You Are So Useless would improve on Make'em's record by 4 seconds. Useless's run had largely the same strategies as Make'em's. Dodge the Scion and pick Master Yi. But Useless killed the first wave in a much better position, which meant he didn't have to wait for the wave on the first turret, allowing him to kill it much faster. This meant Useless could sprint to the second turret without Yasuo stopping him. And for the rest of the run, instead of killing the other bots, Useless always prioritized hitting the turret, allowing the allied bots to deal with the enemy bots. This allowed You Are So Useless to bring the record down to a time of 2 minutes and 19 seconds. But as the run was so new, it didn't take long for it to be improved on yet again. Otanika K would break the record again on the 11th of July, just 1 month later. Otanika would do the same Scion strategy, pick Master Yi, and would hit the first 3 melee minions before killing Vel'Koz. This allowed his wave to push faster to the turret, and again, this meant Otanika didn't have to deal with Yasuo, and continuously focused on hitting the turret and only queued to preserve health. With the Nexus turrets, Otanika plays it extremely risky, tanking both turrets, Wing and using heal to just barely survive, killing the Nexus with a sliver of health left. All these optimizations saved a whole 9 more seconds, bringing the record down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds. But on the exact same day Otanika got the record, someone else posted a run, Golem. Golem had a different Scion strategy, throwing out 1 Q before E'ing and R'ing. This slightly optimized his damage, killing the Scion just a bit faster. He would pick Master Yi like all of the other runners and do the same minion strategy that Otanika did, rushing down the second turret and wasting no time on the enemy bots, constantly hitting the third turret and the inhibitor. At the end, Golem did the same tanking of the turrets, using only a quick W to survive. So on the same day Otanika posted the record, Golem was able to beat it by a whole 4 seconds, with a better Scion kill and better turret taking optimizations. And so at the end of Season 8, the record stood at 2 minutes and 6 seconds by Golem. At the beginning of Season 9, it wouldn't take long for the record to be broken yet again. Sicko97 would submit a run that completely changed how the tutorial speedrun played. During the first part of the run, Sicko wouldn't walk to the side to dodge Scion's ult. Instead, Sicko pre-fired their ult, and at the last second used their Q to kill Scion just before getting hit. Then, unlike every other runner picking Master Yi, Sicko picks Darius. Picking Darius was actually first seen in a run done by Mustang on Fire, but wasn't a new record. But Sicko saw the potential of Darius over Master Yi and wanted to use it, queuing the wave and the Vel'Koz, then ulting to kill. Getting a kill with Darius's ult allows him to stack his passive. This gave Sicko a huge amount of AD and allowed him to push turrets extremely fast. After the first turret, Yasuo comes and Sicko can auto, then get another ult to reset his passive AD, yet again giving him huge turret damage with W resets. Sicko then rushes down the third turret and inhibitor, but instead of ignoring the enemy bots, like Master Yi players, Sicko is able to use them to his advantage. With Darius ult, Sicko can gain the passive AD again, allowing him to rush down the Nexus turrets and Nexus extremely quickly. This new Scion strategy and Darius strategy brought the record down all the way to 2 minutes flat. And as this speedrun gets more and more optimized, we see less and less runners are able to break the record. But during Season 9, there was one other player that was able to push the limits of this run. On the 11th of January 2019, LVP submitted this run. LVP starts with the same Scion strategy, pre-firing the ult but still getting hit by the Scion. Then LVP swaps into Darius and gets a perfect Q, killing the wave and setting Vel'Koz up for the ultimate. Killing the first turret super fast, LVP then kills Yasuo, getting his passive AD again and destroying the second turret. LVP continues to push, getting the third turret and inhibitor down extremely fast. For the final part, LVP kills all the bots before attacking the Nexus turrets, getting one final passive reset on Scion and killing the Nexus, ending with a time of 1 minute and 58 seconds, breaking the 2-minute barrier and setting a new record. Although this record was set at the beginning of Season 9, on the 11th of January, this record stood unbroken for the entire year. And it wasn't just the year of Season 9, because when Season 10 rolled around, that entire year, nobody else could beat LVP's run. Players would come close, but nobody could break that 2-minute barrier like LVP did. But as we move out of Season 10 and into pre-Season 11, LVP's record came into contention. Talos begins the run with a very clean Scion, killing him before getting hit. Then picking Darius, Talos didn't quite kill the full minion wave, but still was able to destroy the first turret extremely fast. Talos then delays killing the Yasuo until he is right next to the turret. This ensures that the bonus AD is fully used on that second turret. Then Talos easily destroys the third turret and the inhibitor. But as the 3 bots run at him, Talos kills Jinx for the passive, then waits until the AD passive drops off, and then kills Braum to extend the passive again. Tanking turrets and getting super low, Talos pushes hard to destroy the Nexus, leaving Talos with a final time of 1 minute and 58 seconds, breaking that 2-minute barrier, but not able to set a new record, but able to match LVP's previous record. But it wasn't just Talos that was competing, because there was one player that had been grinding in the background since June of Season 10, and he had arrived in Season 11 ready to dominate. Alexteria started the run by doing a very clean Scion, picking Darius and getting a perfect Q on the wave and then killing Vel'Koz. killing the turret for a really smooth start. Alexteria then gets a good Q on the second wave and again delays killing the Yasuo to maximize his passive damage. Alexteria also let the bots finish off the second turret to get to the wave faster, rushing the third turret and inhibitor down. Then Alexteria kills Sion for the passive, and then kills Jinx for the passive again, and finally kills Braum for the final passive reset. With these 3 passive procs, Alexteria rushes down the Nexus turrets and the Nexus, ending this run with a time of 1 minute and 57 seconds, setting a new record by just 1 second, and finally, after 3 years, dethroning LVP's run. But Alexteria wasn't done with just that, and only 2 days later, Alexteria would break the record again, bringing the record down by an additional 2 seconds with 2 different strategies. Firstly, after the first turret, Alexteria is able to get a bit of movement into the barrier before the next cutscene. Then secondly, Alexteria gets a better spawn on the bots at the end so he can maintain damage on the turret and reset his passive slightly better. But then 12 days later, Alexteria submitted another run and was able to break the record yet again. The differences were that Alexteria buffered hitting the minion after the second turret died, and then was able to get great bot RNG while hitting the Nexus turrets. But other than that, there were no major strategy changes to the run. Alexteria was able to lower the speedrun by optimizing his existing strategies, and brought the record all the way down to 1 minute and 53 seconds. Then, Alexteria's record sat there throughout the entirety of Season 11. Players would try to beat Alexteria's record, but nobody could do it. Some were able to get runs below the 2-minute barrier, but throughout the rest of Season 11, it was just Alexteria on top. But as Season 12 began, Sky Warzu was the first to set a record of 2 minutes and 16 seconds, not able to beat Alexteria. But Alexteria owned this category and could not let that stand. Literally 1 day later, Alexteria submitted a time of 1 minute and 55 seconds. Not as fast as his latest record, but Alexteria knew that he owned the category. And for the entirety of 2022, Alexteria's record sat there with countless people trying to beat it and failing. Then, Season 13 rolled around. There were a few runners getting close to Alexteria's 153, Somwo getting a 155, Morelio getting a 154, but then a new mysterious runner appeared. This is the only speedrun they've ever submitted, and after this, they faded away from existence. Eggrolos began the run with a clean Sion kill, picking up Darius and getting a beautiful Q into delaying the Vel'Koz kill to maximize passive AD on the turret. Finishing the turret, Eggroll got a small pre-move into the loading screen. Eggroll is able to kill the second turret before Yasuo spawns, allowing them an easy passive proc on the inhibitor turret, getting another passive proc on the Jinx spot for the inhibitor, then killing Braum to push the Nexus turrets, and finally killing Sion on the respawn for the passive on the Nexus. And while it had been almost 3 years of players trying to beat Alexteria's 153, Eggroll had completely blown this record out of the water, with a time of 1 minute and 49 seconds, a full 4 seconds faster. And that's where it has been ever since. Eggroll's a mysterious character, rocks up, beats the record, and then disappears. In Season 14, Morelio got another 154, and just a few days ago, Alexteria in Season 15 got another 154. But all of them are still full seconds away from Eggroll. It seems like getting that Yasuo spawn is crucial to getting a run like Eggroll, and that's where the current record sits for Tutorial Part 1. but there are still 2 more speedrun categories left to discover, and they are a bit more strange than the tutorial. The next category is the 100 CS speedrun. The rules are very simple. Reach a score of 100 CS as fast as possible. You must be alone on your team, while the opposing team can consist of any number of bots. The timing ends when you kill your final minion. The first recorded run on speedrun.com was done by Omaguini at the start of Season 9. Omaguini could pick from any champion in the roster, and decided that Singed would be the best for the 100 CS speedrun. Omaguini's first buy was Dark Seal and Refillable Potion. Now this might look weird in Modern League, but back in Season 9, Dark Seal granted 25% increased healing from potions, so this buy allowed for huge amounts of sustain from Refillable Potion. Omaguini then walked all the way to the enemy base, flashed in, getting access to both mid lane minions and bot lane minions. Then Omaguini tries to pull both the waves to some success, continuing to proxy both waves until he dies. On respawn, Omaguini uses Futures Market to buy a second Dark Seal and teleport back to the ward that he placed earlier. Then it's back to proxying 2 waves at a time until he dies again and buys another Dark Seal. But instead of sprinting back to the proxy position, Omaguini sprints to top lane, farming all the way up the lane until he eventually hex flashes back over the wall and goes back to double proxying. Omaguini gets really low on mana, so he uses Ultimate Spellbook to swap to Clarity and get his mana back, continuing to proxy until he dies yet again. Omaguini then buys Swiftness Boots and another Dark Seal, running top to farm a few more waves until finally reaching 100 CS. This first run was extremely rudimentary, basically just running around the map trying to get as much CS as possible, with the main strategy being the 2-lane proxy. So it only took 1 day for it to be beaten. Ferox would submit a run not on Singed, but instead playing Yasuo, also deciding to put 3 bots on the enemy team. At the start of the game, Ferox pulls Misfortune Bot into the blue side jungle, killing her for some extra gold. Ferox then heads straight back to mid to farm the wave. After farming mid, he then kills the crab and comes back to mid, just laning normally, farming and killing Misfortune Bot. Ferox would rinse and repeat, killing Misfortune, farming the mid wave, and then farming the jungle camps. Over and over, never moving to other lanes or proxying, just maximizing mid lane resources, resulting in Ferox getting a time of 8 minutes and 39 seconds, just barely beating Omaguini by 2 seconds. The next runner, Boomical, would lower the record by 1 minute, improving on Ferox's strategy. Boomical picked Renekton, ran mid lane, and would farm the wave and the jungle just like Ferox. But Boomical did make some changes to the strategy. He didn't put bots on the enemy team, took minion dematerializer, and took fleet footwork. Boomical did what Ferox did, but far more efficient, and after reaching 50 CS, Boomical got enough for a Tiamat. Then instead of heading back to mid, Boomical went to bot lane, cleared the wave, then moved up to the proxy position, and then farmed the jungle on the way back to mid. Boomical farmed until reaching 100 CS, lowering the record by a full minute down to 7 minutes and 24 seconds. Half-Lift then submitted a run that lowered the record yet again, but this time playing Shyvana. Doing a similar strategy, Half-Lift would farm mid-waves, then go farm jungle camps, but Half-Lift's strategy was far more optimized, running to side lanes, clearing a wave, then proxying a wave, then clearing the jungle back towards mid, catching the mid wave in this sort of triangle pattern. Half-Lift would repeat this strategy for both bot lane and top lane, then finally return to clear the final mid wave and reach 100 CS, bringing the time down another full minute to 6 minutes and 39 seconds. The record was lowered yet again, but this time by Haku on Kayn. Haku had a very similar strategy to Half-Lift, utilizing Unsealed Spellbook and Minion Dematerializer. But this time, Haku started by buying the jungle item. Haku would use Kayn's fast bird clear, then move to farm mid, catching 2 waves, then using Kayn's E to quickly farm the jungle again, and then move back to mid to farm more waves. Haku would go back to the jungle, but instead of returning to mid lane, Haku would do a strategy similar to Half-Lift, heading to the side lane, farming the wave, then proxying a wave, and farming the jungle on the way back, getting the crab and then moving back to mid, and farming the jungle on the way to top lane, catching 1 wave, then teleporting bot to catch that wave that had been stacking up and finally reaching 100 CS. This strategy was somewhat similar to Half-Lift, taking advantage of the jungle, the side lanes, and the mid wave. But with Kayn's terrain scaling, Haku was able to lower the record by 4 seconds to 6 minutes and 35 seconds. But the strategy for the 100 CS speedrun was about to change forever, because Singed was back, and so was the 2-lane proxy. Speedrunner Bert122 started the run by buying Dark Seal and 3 potions, and then flashing into the base. Bert did the 2-lane proxy strategy until he died. Bert then teleports back to his ward with another Dark Seal, very reminiscent of Omagwini, except that Bert was catching way more minions from each of the waves. Bert then continues to farm 2 waves at a time until Bert hits 100 CS. This strategy was much simpler than the previous runners, and much faster, bringing the record down a full minute with a run of 5 minutes and 47 seconds. Seeing that the Singed proxy strategy was back, so was Omagwini. By taking fleet footwork for the extra sustain, Omagwini was able to improve on this strategy, flashing into the base and doing the same double proxy. With the movement speed of fleet footwork, Omagwini was able to pull both waves much easier, dying, buying more Dark Seals and health potions, then teleporting back to his ward, and then just farming both waves, getting extremely low and barely securing the 100th minion before dying, setting a new record of 5 minutes and 41 seconds. But the final record of Season 9 would again be set on Singed by Arco. Arco would also use the double proxy strategy, farming both waves until dying and buying another Dark Seal with potions, then farming to 100 CS. Very simple, very easy, and just by being slightly more efficient, Arco was able to lower the record to 5 minutes and 18 seconds. At the beginning of Season 10, Arco was back, starting the year by beating his own record again, but only by 1 second. Arco did the exact same strategy with no real innovations, just optimizing and missing less CS, lowering the record to 5 minutes and 17 seconds. But on the exact same day, another runner was going to revolutionize the proxy strategy without Singed. PP-Poo-Poo26 would submit a new run playing Amumu. Amumu's E cooldown is reduced by every minion auto attack, giving him great wave clear against multiple minions. Utilizing fleet footwork and starting Doran's ring, PP-Poo-Poo did basically the exact same duo lane proxy strategy but on Amumu, bringing the record down by only 1 second, but proving that Singed was not the only champion that could double proxy. And later that month, Hyakizi N1 would break the record again with Amumu. Same runes, same items, same strategy, but just done more efficiently. Hyakizi was able to lower the record by an additional 2 seconds, all the way down to 5 minutes and 14 seconds. Then 1 day later, Hyakizi submitted another run doing the same Amumu strategy, but even more optimized, and was able to bring the record down again by another 4 seconds, all the way down to 5 minutes and 10 seconds. But Amumu was not the only champion that was taking over the 100 CS meta, because there was another champion that was about to become extremely popular. Barrow started his run by buying 4 fairy charms with the Omnistone rune and biscuit delivery. Barrow would do the same double lane proxy strategy, however, with Fiddlestick's W, Barrow could infinitely sustain through the waves, with his only problem being mana regen. But by buying 4 fairy charms, Barrow always had enough mana. Barrow would also use Hex Flash to pull both waves at the same time, maintaining aggro on one wave, then Hex Flashing to the other. A really interesting and effective technique. So with 4 fairy charms and infinite sustain, Barrow didn't have to die or recall the entire run, allowing him to be there for every single wave, securing a time of 5 minutes and 8 seconds, meaning that he had almost 20 CS per minute. The runner Bodit also picked up the Fiddlestick strategy, with the same 4 fairy charm first buy and doing the double proxy strategy with infinite sustain. But right as Bodit hits 90 CS, he ults to catch the final waves, then TP's top to catch that wave as well, saving a huge amount of time rather than just waiting for the next wave to spawn. This crazy technique allowed Bodit to bring the record down to 4 minutes and 52 seconds, breaking that 5-minute barrier. But Barrow wouldn't let their record go lightly, and just one day later, Barrow responded with a new record of their own. Back with Fiddlesticks and 4 fairy charms in their inventory, Barrow did a super clean run, only letting one singular minion through, and then teleported perfectly during the ult in the last few seconds of the run to save as much time as possible, resulting in a super low time of 4 minutes and 47 seconds. So, was the only thing left to improve in the 100 CS run just not letting that one singular minion through? Well, on literally the exact same day as Barrow got the new record, Bodit responded with a run of his own. The same Fiddlestick strategy, except Bodit teleports into the base, allowing him to use his first flash to pull both of the first waves, ensuring that one minion doesn't slip past. Bodit then didn't miss a singular minion throughout the entire speedrun, and instead of TPing top for the final waves, Bodit had such perfect CS that he ulted forward to get both waves, resulting in him hitting exactly 100 CS, bringing the record down to 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Bodit had done it, completing a run that CS 2 lanes perfectly. So was that it? There is no way to make minions spawn faster, so was the 100 CS run completely optimized? But speedrunners always push the limits, and just one day later, runner Mikhailo, who had not held the record, submitted this run. Mikhailo utilized Barrier to get into the base instead of flashing or TPing. Mikhailo then also didn't miss a single CS throughout their entire run, doing the same Hex Flash trick. But at the end of the run, Mikhailo just barely inches out a time of 4 minutes and 41 seconds by killing the final minion only slightly faster than Bodit. And with that, Mikhailo had just squeezed out the record for Season 10, perfectly CSing and killing the final wave just a tiny bit faster. Throughout the first half of Season 11, speedrunners tried to beat Mikhailo's run of 4 minutes and 41 seconds. But it wasn't until August where a player would set a new record. But it wasn't just by a bit. It wasn't just killing that final minion a little bit faster. The player Kindled Orchid completely destroyed Mikhailo's record. Kindled Orchid was not on Fiddlesticks and instead opted to play a Mumu. Kindled Orchid got perfect CS from 2 lanes, but there was one strange thing Kindled Orchid did during his run. At 2 minutes, they parted to farm mid lane and bot lane together, then went back to farming top lane and mid lane. And this was the secret technique to breaking through that perfect CS barrier. By farming that one wave, bot lane's wave crashes under turret and then begins slow pushing back, creating a huge stacking wave as you proxy the other 2 waves. This meant that instead of having to wait for the final wave to spawn, Kindled Orchid teleports bot, one-shotting a huge stacked wave with a final R and E, saving a full 15 seconds. This brought the record from 4 minutes and 41 seconds all the way down to 4 minutes and 25 seconds, breaking that perfect CS cap, meaning that Kindled Orchid was able to get 22 CS per minute. And then the record sat there, and sat there. In Season 12, Charlemagne got a run of 4 minutes and 54 seconds, but couldn't beat Kindled Orchid. In Season 13, It's Me Raven got a time of 4 minutes and 46 seconds, but couldn't beat Kindled Orchid. In Season 14, Imagebox got a run of 4 minutes and 47 seconds, but couldn't beat Kindled Orchid. And in Season 15, X Cafe X got a run of 5 minutes and 18 seconds, but could not beat Kindled Orchid. This might be the perfect 100 CS speedrun. It seems like no other runner is able to get close to the time that Kindled Orchid got. But who knows what innovations speedrunners may come up with in the future. But there is one run left similar to the 100 CS speedrun, the 50 kills speedrun. But the 50 kills speedrun has an even crazier story. Similar to the 100 CS speedrun, the rules are very simple. Just get 50 kills on any map. You must be alone on your team, while the opposing team should consist of any number of bots. The difficulty of the bots is irrelevant, and the run ends when you reach 50 kills. The first run in the 50 kills category was submitted by CrewVet during Season 8, but unfortunately, the footage of this run is lost to time. However, we do know that it was a time of 14 minutes and 20 seconds, and was verified by the moderators on speedrun.com. But the second record does have footage, submitted by Sensenko. Sensenko played Jinx against a full team of enemy bots. At level 1, Sensenko instantly sprinted top and got the bots to follow him. Sensenko maintained aggro, bringing the bots to this position in the blue side jungle, which then made their AI bug out, causing them to sprint into the turret to get 2 easy kills. Sensenko then recalls, but only bought potions and teleported bot. He then instantly started fighting the 2 bots down there, securing 2 additional kills. But instead of running mid or back to top lane, Sensenko decided to stay in the lane and just keep pushing. The bots return and Sensenko fights them and actually ends up dying, which I don't think was part of the intended speedrun. Sensenko then buys items and heads back to bot lane to keep killing the 2 bots. And for the rest of the run, that's all Sensenko does. Kill the 2 bots, push the turret, kill them again, and push more turrets. Eventually, Sensenko gets so close to the base that the other bots start to defend, allowing Sensenko to farm more kills. Recalling again, Sensenko buys Infinity Edge and Runans, then teleports back to bot lane, and for the rest of the game, he sits in the enemy base, killing the bots on spawn until Sensenko reaches 50 kills, setting a record of 11 minutes and 36 seconds. The final record of Season 8 was set by All Rush Mixtape. Doing the same level 1 strategy of pulling the bots to the turret, Mixtape recalls to buy items, then walks back top and keeps killing the bots. Then recalling again and teleporting bot to kill those 2 bots, and Mixtape does the same strategy of killing the bot lane bots and pushing the turrets, getting into the base and farming the enemy bots from spawn. But with a better early game strategy and teleport usage, All Rush Mixtape was able to lower the record, bringing it down to 11 minutes and 4 seconds for the end of Season 8. But as Season 9 began, a familiar face from the 100 CS category was able to set the record in the 50 kills speedrun. PP-Poo-Poo-26 was back to claim a new record, doing the same level 1 strategy and then teleporting straight to bot lane instead of heading back top. PP-Poo-Poo farmed kills in the bot lane and pushed the turrets just like every other runner. However, PP-Poo-Poo took Demolish, allowing for faster pushing, and took heal instead of flash for extra sustain during all the fighting. Once he got to the inhibitor turrets, PP-Poo-Poo recalled and teleported back with Runans. This gave him huge AoE killing potential as he proceeded to farm kills on the bots from their own base. With this focus on bot lane, taking some new runes and heal, PP was able to bring the run down by over a minute, resulting in a time of 9 minutes and 53 seconds. And for the rest of Season 9, nobody was able to get a lower time than PP. But speedrunners were about to innovate on the champion options for the 50 kills speedrun. During Season 10, Piols lowered the record by playing Master Yi, doing the same level 1 strategy to get 2 kills, but instead of recalling, Piols runs mid to get an additional kill, then dies for a faster recall. Piols buys Tiamat, then goes to get to bot lane and secure 2 more kills. The Tiamat that Piols bought allows him to push waves super fast, getting into the proxy position and killing the enemy bots between the first 2 turrets. This proxy position allowed for much easier kills, without worrying about the bots hiding under the first turret. Piols then resets and buys Ginsu's, and decides to walk back to lane, still saving teleport. He then keeps farming kills on the enemy bots and pushing the turrets, doing the same strategy as every other runner. Piols gets way too eager and actually ends up dying for a second time during the speedrun. Buying Rav Hydra and teleporting back, Piols continues to push waves, farm kills, and destroy turrets. With Master Yi's high kill threat, this was extremely easy. Then Piols sat in the enemy base and farmed bots until reaching 50 kills. And even with 2 deaths during the run, Piols was able to lower the record down to 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Throughout Season 10, Piols was the only player to get a new record. But Master Yi was not the only new champion that would be used in the 50 kill speedrun, as the runner Bang then lowered the record in Season 11 with Olaf. Starting the game with a different level 1 strategy, Bang ran to mid, getting a low, then pulling Ziggs into the jungle and getting a quick kill. Then Bang instantly runs top to pull both of the 2 bots back into the blue jungle, and doing the same level 1 strategy as the other runners. This got Bang 3 quick kills in the first few minutes of the game. Bang then resets, buys a Tiamat, and runs bot, doing the same strategy that Piols did on Master Yi, farming the waves and killing the bots between the 2 turrets. But unlike Piols, Bang managed not to die, allowing Bang to lower the record by another full 30 seconds, resulting in a time of 9 minutes and 1 second. Gundari would lower the record by 1 second again on Olaf. The only difference in Gundari's run was that once he reached the inhibitor turret, he stopped pushing entirely and just farmed the champions from spawn, speeding up the run by 1 second, bringing the record down to 9 minutes flat. But Bang wouldn't let go of his record that easily, and just 3 days later, Bang came back with a run that brought the record down not just by 1 second, but another full 30 seconds. Bang did the same level 1 strategy to kill the mid lane bot, but instead of pulling the top lane bots to the jungle, Bang just kills them between the 2 turrets, and then kills himself for a faster recall. Bang runs bot with a full Tiamat and does the exact same strategy, killing the bots and pushing the lane, shaving a full 30 seconds off the record, bringing it down to 8 minutes and 29 seconds. But a familiar face from a different category came to the 50 kill speedrun, Alexteria, a player that was setting records in the tutorial speedrun at the time. Alexteria started the run by going top lane and killing the 2 bots between the 2 turrets, but then walking further down the lane and killing the 2 bots again on respawn before dying, allowing Alexteria to get 4 early kills. He then walked to bot with a Tiamat doing the same pushing bot strategy as the other runners. After recalling, Alexteria picks up a Dustblade and a Dirk. This extra lethality allows Alexteria to kill the bots even faster. Once reaching the inhibitor turret, Alexteria sat in the enemy base and farmed the bots on spawn, allowing him to break the record by a full 30 seconds again, bringing it down to 8 minutes and 1 second. But Bang was adamant on keeping this record, and after losing the record just 4 days later, Bang was back. doing the same top lane strategy to get 2 kills between the turrets, then doing the same strategy as Alexteria, getting 2 more kills on the respawn. Bang then headed bot lane, getting more kills and doing the same strategies. So although there were no real innovations, with sheer optimization of the existing strategies, Bang was able to bring the record down by 5 seconds, to a time of 7 minutes and 55 seconds, securing the fastest run of Season 11. But as Season 12 began, Bang still wasn't finished with the 50 kill record. Doing the exact same strategy, but starting with a dagger and utilizing the updated lethal tempo. In Season 12, lethal tempo was updated to give a stacking buff from level 1, granting the user extra attack speed and range, making it extremely strong for early fights. For the rest of the run, Bang used the exact same strategies, still buying Tiamat and Duskblade and farming kills in the base. But with slight optimizations and using the new lethal tempo, Bang was able to beat himself, bringing the record down to 7 minutes and 49 seconds. But that would be the last record with Olaf, because players would start trying more champion strategies to get the record down. Small 13999 set a new record with Tryndamere. Small started the run by killing 2 bots in the top lane and getting 2 more kills on the respawn. Small also bought Tiamat and sprinted bot, doing the same strategy as the previous Olaf runs. However, Small was actually running Demolish, allowing him to push faster. Using the new lethal tempo, Tryndamere proved to be quite useful, and Small was able to get a new record of 7 minutes and 38 seconds. Later that exact same day, Small submitted another run, but this time on Trundle. The new lethal tempo was extremely powerful with Trundle's auto reset, giving him lots of killing power in the early game. Small also realized that Trundle can kill champions but also push towers extremely fast, and the faster you push the towers, the sooner you can get into the enemy base and start farming all 5 bots efficiently. Small bought Tiamat and Duskblade yet again for more killing power, and Trundle's pushing power allowed Small to get to the inhibitor turrets by 5 minutes, and then he sat there in the enemy base farming kills. This new Trundle strategy brought the record down another 10 seconds, to a time of 7 minutes and 23 seconds. And then the record sat there, and runners tried to beat it, but just simply couldn't. Season 13's fastest time was 8 minutes and 27 seconds by Ultra Nice Boy. Then in Season 14, Imagebox set the fastest time at 8 minutes and 27 seconds again. But then halfway through Season 14, the meta for this run shifted. Not just by a little, not just by a minute, not just beating Small's Trundle record, but the 50 kill speed run was completely revolutionized. During Season 14, Riot Games reworked the League of Legends bots, meaning that in custom games, you could assign their roles. Players then found an exploit allowing them to assign all the bots in the lobby to play the exact same champion, and would then assign all the bots to play the exact same role. And after this bot rework and the exploit discovery, a player by the name of Ezu submitted this run. By assigning every bot to play Kassadin and go top lane, Ezu could kill all 5 bots right from level 1. Ezu decided to play Jinx for the passive attack speed and the AoE damage, and we can already see that Ezu was killing these bots so unbelievably fast, buying Essence Reaver at 3 minutes into the game. Then farming kills in the bots between the 2 turrets, Ezu used Jinx's passive move speed to move further and further into the base, and by 4 minutes into the game, Ezu was literally already at the enemy fountain farming kills on the bots. And with the fast level 1 spawn times, it was back-to-back kills, meaning that Ezu completely shattered the existing record, bringing it down from 7 minutes all the way to just 4 minutes and 47 seconds. And just when Small 13999 had held onto the record for so long, a new era was born for the 50 kill category. Imagebox came back after the bot rework to set a new record for himself. But Imagebox had a different strategy, spawning all the Kassadin bots in the bot lane, and instead of building Essence Reaver, Imagebox built Runans. Imagebox also didn't kill the bots between the two turrets in the proxy position, instead deciding to flash into the enemy base, speeding up the fountain spawn farming. And with Runans versus 5 level 1 bots, Imagebox was able to sit at the fountain and farm kills extremely fast, saving a huge amount of time yet again, bringing the record all the way down to 3 minutes and 38 seconds. But Imagebox wasn't done. On the exact same day, Imagebox even blew that new strategy out of the water. By taking the Bounty Hunter and Triumph runes, Imagebox was able to get enough gold to buy Runans after just the first 5 kills, allowing Imagebox to kill the next wave of Kassadins insanely fast, then run and flash into the enemy base, killing the 3rd wave of Kassadins, and then make his way to the fountain to spawn camp the Kassadins, creating an absolutely insane run of just 2 minutes and 56 seconds. But it still wasn't over, and just 2 days later, Ezowu came back with new strategies. By spawning the Kassadins in mid, Ezowu was able to get to mid just a little bit faster. After killing all the Kassadins, Ezowu then teleported back with Runans, then killing all the Kassadin bots extremely fast again, and due to mid lane's short lane, Ezowu can use the passive move speed and flash to get into the base extremely fast. Ezowu then sits at the fountain farming Kassadin kills, getting a new record of 2 minutes and 48 seconds, just barely beating out Imagebox by 10 seconds and setting a new all-time record. And that's where it stands for the 50 kill speedrun. So far in Season 15, we've had Zirikatu get a 4 minute and 52 second run, but nobody has been able to beat Ezowu yet. The first recorded 50 kill run was literally 14 minutes long, and now it's just 2 minutes and 48 seconds. It's just completely mind-blowing to see how far this run has progressed and what strategies have been developed. The League of Legends speedrunning scene is an interesting and quite small community when compared to the whole League player base, but what they do with the game should be appreciated all the same. I hope that with this video, the community will maybe grow and continue to push League of Legends to its limits. There are so many other categories to speedrun, but these were the 3 that stood out to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, or you can also talk to me live at MuckanOCE on Twitch.